Certain set deals that we want everybody for maintenance guys like that we go over.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna scroll to them on every one. I'm gonna tell you what you need to do with the machine, how often you should do it with the machine, and then you're gonna sign off on it, saying that I went over everything with you, right?
Now, can you send a copy to us? At this time, I don't have a chance to email, but.
Yes, at this time. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read all this to you, correct?
Okay.
You're gonna sign it. I'm gonna send it into our office, who then in return makes a folder, and then they can email that to Bradbury, and Bradbury can get that to you guys.
And we'll give you a hard copy and electronic, so.
Yeah.
So on this project here, you're gonna have 2 makeup airs. You're gonna have one in the garage, and you're gonna have one in the kitchen. The one in the garage is for the CONO system in the garage. The one for the kitchen is to make up for the PRD exhaust in the kitchen. So they do 2 separate things in essence, but the same kind of equipment.
Okay.
Okay? So on this makeup area, you want to check filters monthly and replace as needed. But you can't replace these, they're washable, so I don't know why it says replace.
Yeah.
Because they're actually metal filters that you just rinse off and put back in the unit.
Yep.
So you're basically just going to take these 2 knobs here. Oh, and I got to go get a screwdriver.
Well, I might have.
I got one on here, hold on a second.
You know, I might have
Did
something.
not bring a drill with me.
Oh, yeah.
And this should have been taken on, so I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Just take them out, rinse them off with a hose, let them dry out, shove them back in there. You'll have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 of them. And I would say, you know, the day the building goes open, you might want to rinse them all out because they've been using it to clean the garage out right now. So you can tell they're a little, they're a little dirty already. But again, these ones are just washable filters. Don't throw these away.
No. No.
Just rinse them off, put them back in there. And then that screw that I took out doesn't need to be there. It's just to hold the door closed for shipping.
Okay. Well, that's thing for me to mess with anyway.
Yes, sir. Then you just put the door back in place and latch her back home. And the next thing we got clean condensate. There's no condensate on this one. Check belts every 3 months. For the first, it says check belts weekly for the first 3 months, then every 6 months. So in here you'll have belt.
Oh, yeah.
Just turn your machine off. Check it for cracks.
Yep.
Make sure it's still tight. Grease the zerks every 6 months. So inside of here you should have some grease zerks. You'll have some.
Yeah, we'll go around that. That side, the other side, motors there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So just trying to see exactly. There's one here.
There'll be one on the other side too.
And there'll be one on the, and then the door should open on the other side over there too.
Yep.
Just walk over there. No, because the other side doesn't open.
Yeah.
It's just that one grease zerk on that side.
Oh, yeah.
And that's pretty much all you got to do with this piece of equipment here. Just make sure that you turn it off, bring them filters out, and then grease those zerks and check that belt.
Yep.
Other than that, it should run when it needs to run.
Yeah.
Right? We also have a thermostat attached to this one.
Okay.
So to keep your garage at a certain temperature, I think we got it set at, it's over here, I'll show it to you.
Oh, okay.
But it's set at 50 degrees right now, just to keep keep stuff moving in here,
Yeah.
sorry. just to keep stuff moving, yeah, we're on video. And all down low.
Okay.
That'll also set the equipment off. So if it gets to the 400 parts per million or whatever parts per million it's supposed to get to, where we're set it at, it'll also turn this on whether it's up to temp or not. It'll turn that on and it'll turn your exhaust fan on the other side of the garage.
Okay.
Okay? Now condensers that go to 5 furnaces and 11 fan coils.
Okay.
Okay? So we'll go over the process of cleaning one of these. I actually just unpackaged them yesterday. So they're all still, you know, they might have a little dust on here, but all the coils are nice and clean as a brand new piece of equipment should be.
They all 410A or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So for these, we just want you to, this is for more outdoors, clean coils as necessary for dust, cottonwood, etc. We would have dust in here. I don't see you getting any cottonwood or anything like that in this area. Condensers will run down to 55 degrees with no low ambient. So for all our thermostats, they're all set at 60 and 80.
Okay.
We don't want the heat going any higher than 80 degrees. We don't want the cooling going any lower than 60 degrees. So it's kind of dummified in every unit. It's set to only be able to go that low and only be able to go that high.
Okay.
So when somebody comes and says, hey, my room's only at 80 degrees, I need it at 86, it's not going to happen without reprogramming. Okay?
Yeah.
So that goes for every unit in the building, on top of every common corridor area with a lock box on our thermostats. They're all set to the same. You can't go any lower than 60 and higher than 80. Okay? Other than that, all you have to do is take a hose, not a pressure washer, these things, and just rinse them off. You know, if in time they do tend to get dusty down here, but just take a hose and just wash them off. Every condenser is labeled for where it goes.
Okay.
So this would go to fan coil 7. The thermostats are all labeled fan coil 7. Fan coil 7 is also labeled fan coil 7. And therefore, throughout the building, everything is labeled what it goes to, what the thermostat is, and what the piece of equipment number is. Okay? So that'll take care of those ones.
Got a lot of building codes to do that.
Over here we got a garage exhaust fan, which is also tied to your makeup air unit and your seal panel system. Okay? So anytime that kicks on, it'll also kick on your top panel over here.
Okay.
And here's some more of the condensers. There's one there, 2 over there, 3 over here, and then there's 3 behind the corner back there by the photo.
Okay.
You know about mini splits? That's also a mini split condenser, and then there's another mini split condenser up over there.
Okay.
That would be occasional hold down, they tend to get dusty or whatnot. Yeah. Other than that, they should be pretty good. They're out of the way, they're up in the air.
Yeah.
Shouldn't get too dirty. So now on this exhaust fan, you're gonna check this belt weekly again for the first 3 months.
Okay.
See the belts going around here. And this is where I was looking for that greaser, because they got one on the motor here actually, for that makeup air. So it's right down there on the motor. Make sure we get that greased up. Check the belt for cracks. Weekly for the first 3 months, and then every 6 months after that.
Okay.
And then it says keep louvers and dampers free of grease. We don't have any louvers on here. On the outside of this, it's just it's a diamond mesh, and we have a rain guard over that. So if you guys get a lot of leaves or dirt into your area wells there, you might want to jump down there a little bit and just make sure it's all taken out of there. This one here should blow it out. The other one on the other side is going to suck it in. So just every now and again, I know there's grates over the area wells out there, and if you just take a look down there, it's just like a diamond plate, like a toolbox, but it's actually cut out for all the diamonds. So you'll be able to see it easier than if there was a louver, all the garbage that's in there. If there's garbage in there, clean that out.
Okay.
Okay. That's pretty basic for that one. And to get at that, you would just remove these screws. They're just holding this grate on here so nobody can stick their fingers in there. Okay, so you just remove these 6 screws here. Then you got that one grease surge there. And I would like to say there's one on the roller there. And we can grab a drill. We can grab a drill once the drill's done, and I can walk through and show you exactly where these are.
I'll take a look. Probably in the closeout, you probably have all the belt sizes or whatnot.
I will give you a filter list, and I can get the belt size for that and the belt size for the makeup air. I'm probably just gonna take the cover off and see what it says on the belt side and then write it down.
Okay.
If that works for you, sure. So this would be furnace 1, thermostat 1, right? So on our furnaces, we're gonna ask that you check the filters. Just gonna scroll to it here quick. So we're gonna ask you to check filters monthly, replace as needed. So every 30 days. We do a 25 by 10 by 4. Kind of a bigger filter you can get at Menards or anywhere, but once we give you a filter list, you'll be able to order,
Okay.
you know,
Thanks.
monthly or whatever
That
you
will
want.
help. Yeah, I'll just go by that first. Make sure I have plenty on hand.
Yep, and on the list that I give you, it'll tell you what piece of equipment takes what size filter.
Okay,
So that way you're not running around the building like,
Yeah.
I thought that was a 20 by 20 over there, or I thought this was that over there. You'll have a list and then you can just go off your list. We're also gonna ask that you clean the condensate drains at least twice a year. Every piece of equipment that I have installed in this building will have a warning sign on it
Okay.
that tells you to clean this once every 6 months, okay? It's a condensate switch.
Oh, good. You got, yeah, that'll.
If any time the cooling were to back up or the condensate drain were to back up, it'll set the switch off,
Yep.
which in return will shut the piece of equipment down. There's an air gap T right here that you can take your hose and spray down in there. And it'll come down through this area here.
Okay.
So your drains are.
No contact or aeroacousticals, all that.
So the motor on these are direct drive, you'll have no oiling. If there's no cooling, first thing you check, safety switch.
No, I'll check, I'll check.
There's no low ambient controls installed on any of this because everything's in your
They're out of our
garage.
contract.
There's nothing outside. If
One
it was outside out here, I
contract
think we'd be pumps.
Because that's kind of all they
But right
have.
now, we have all
There it
the
is.
equipment downstairs and
I got it.
in a tempered area, so there's no low ambient controls on it.
Okay.
Outdoor temp AC, we run down to usually 30 degrees. Obviously, we have no outdoor ACs, so we don't have that problem. Okay, so that's pretty much basic furnace. All these also come with an electric damper on your fresh airs over here. Again, nothing you should have to mess with. It automatically opens with the furnace. When the furnace turns on, it gives it fresh air to the building. So, and then it's also tempered. It comes in through our return,
Okay.
which gets tempered before it goes on.
Are these hot surface or smart condition? Are these? Oh, are these is the ignition source hot surface or smart condition?
Smart.
Okay.
Well, no. This has a flame rod.
Oh, okay.
So no spark included. It has an igniter.
Okay, it doesn't.
But it also has a flame rod. I don't know if I've ever been asked that or if I even know what that is.
Oh, usually if it's hot surface, I always like to have one or two on hand.
Oh, I got you.
Probably want to worry about this year.
And this hose here is just coming down from our intake. Because some condensate does come down to our intake here. We were trying to avoid it coming off onto our gas valve that was just right there.
Yeah.
So now we're taking it down through here, trapping it, and then letting it come back down to our condensate drain.
Yeah.
And that's, unless you have questions about the furnace, I guess that's all that we got for the furnace.
No.
Filter size in there. Every room that a piece of my equipment is installed in, there's an envelope over here
Okay.
with all the kinds of readings here you might want to look at when you're looking into the problem that you have. It has troubleshooting on the backside and what the equipment actually is and what it does. That'll be the furnace.
Okay.
And we'll go over one, but I'll show you both of them.
Good day to do this outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful out here. So check your filter monthly, rinse it off as needed.
Yeah.
You'll have a fence out here at some point, so it should kind of block most of it, but it will get dirty at some point, right?
Especially out here. Yeah.
So this one's gonna say clean condensate drains is needed also. The condensate drains on these are a little harder to get to because they put them in between the supply and the return duct. So we got a trap in there, and then it comes down. And if you see no water coming out, obviously it's not condensating, or it's stuck.
Yeah.
Right? So there, they just ask on these that you just put a trap in there and let it come out. So just clean it out. Or clean it out every 6 months. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Clean it out every 6 months. And here we're gonna check the belts weekly for the first 3 months. Check the belts weekly for the first 3 months, and then every 6 months, and then clean your zerks. And those are all gonna be over here. That's the reason why I grabbed this drill here. We'll rip this bad boy open. Thought I've been thinking on how it's taken apart before you got here.
Oh, well.
But at least this way you get to see how it gets taken apart,
Yeah, there you go.
put back together.
I think the grease, you just use Chevron too, doesn't it? Or any kind of lithium grease.
Yeah, we can get you a pamphlet on what kind of grease we like in it too. I guess it doesn't state in there, and I didn't look at it. But so you can see all the belt sizes are right on them. AX52. Let's see if we can find any grease tricks on there. Got the coil on the other side there.
Glad to see there's no ECM motors in here, so.
I don't see the grease trip.
Oh, I wonder if it's a steel bearing.
This one is right here. You
Oh.
can tell that, yeah. Same with back here. So on this one, we'll just check the belt
Okay.
weekly for the first 3 months, and then every 6 months after.
Okay.
I might have showed you that already. Keep snow removed from around the unit. Everything that we did, we put nice and high so it'd be above snow level, like your regulator. Had to be piped up so it didn't get wet, and we put a 90 on there so that if we were ever to vent, it would vent up high above snow level.
Snow away from it, so.
Yes. So once they put a fence in here, it's gonna get a little tight.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure we relieve all the snow out of here. So you'll have two of these exact. They're not the exact same unit. The one over there is a little different, but it's the same setup. And I can open that one, and we can check out the motor on that. So that rooftop there is rooftop 1. That feeds the dining area. This is rooftop 2, which feeds the kitchen.
Okay.
And all the breakers are right over here on the building. Put my hand in there and lose that video.
Not funny.
And this one
Disclosure.
is not going to have a belt. It's just going to have.
Oh, okay.
So on this one, we'll just replace it. We'll just clean that filter off. We'll be good to go. This one will have the condensate too. It'll be a little rougher than the other one to get to because this one is again in between the supply and return. So you almost gotta call underneath it. RVs.
Okay.
Those are variable direct drives, so they don't have a belt in it. Let me get a ladder so I can open one up and show you the inside. That was a rooftop. PRVs. You can run the ladder. So again, this one here is a variable drive.
Oh, it is variable. Okay.
There's no grease source on this one. One thing that we'd ask you to do is set the grease trap below here. Make sure we got enough in there. And it will just slide right out of there.
Okay.
And obviously it's empty right now.
Yeah.
Seared coil here. This is I need to bust. I'm gonna open the information here and make sure I get everything that we're supposed to do here. So on this unit here, everything's going to be automatic in the kitchen. We have a room sensor in there that'll tell it to keep it at the right temp.
Okay.
Pretty much. So the service department will come out here, they'll set it up to the temp that they want it to be at or that it's supposed to be set at, and it just runs at that temp.
Okay.
If the outdoor temp is above 50 degrees, you're not going to get no heat from your makeup area.
Okay.
Unit has a temp rise of 50 degrees above outdoor temp. So it can get up to 100 degrees.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go 50 degrees above that, right? So here's our motor, not fan driven, or not belt driven, sorry. But I gotta find the one for kitchen. What size is this? Research on 6 months. It's another bearing motor, so we're good there. On this one, we would just ask that you clean the filters out. Check them once a month.
Okay.
Filters on here are just right here. We have 3 of them. Alright, they all slide out. And they all have a airflow filter on, or an airflow arrow on them. So it doesn't matter if you take all 3 out and you put the first one back in first, as long as they all got the arrow pointing in the right direction. And also we got a condensate on this one. A little easier to get to, a little easier to clean. On here, they had a setup from the factory, so you can clean it out from multiple points. And also I put a ball valve on the bottom here that you can just open up and drop all the debris, if any, just right to the ground there.
Okay.
If I'm missing anything that you might know of, please say something and I'll try to address everything that I can. The condensers on here are all set up, good to go. Again, you might ask that you just wash off the coils every now and again. Because out here obviously is going to probably get more degrees than going down in the garage. And I'm just opening the door so you can just take a look at what we got going on in here. And I don't have it up and running in the kitchen right now because there's no need for it to be running in there. We had everything going for heat like last week, but everything's warm in the building now, so I turned it off until our service department gets here and they can do what they want with it.
Okay.
Then from here, so I'm waiting for it to be installed, and you can see their wall's missing a little bit right now, but this is the room sensor for the makeup air.
Okay.
That's also attached to your captive air box on the other side of the hood over here. This is your control panel for the hood, for the PRVs and the makeup air system. I don't know much about the options to it, to be honest with you, but I'm sure my service department's going to get it all up and going and ready to rock and roll, and then we'll have another discussion about it at that time.
Okay.
Or captive air.
Yeah.
I think our service department does like the captive air walkthrough.
Okay.
Because I don't know a whole lot about them. So I'll address that with them and ask them to at least talk to while they're out here setting everything up.
Okay.
Other than that, that's the kitchen. So we'll go to the HVAC filters.
Yeah, well.
Construction filters, right? We're supposed to be cleaning these out every week. Apparently Bradbury didn't get the memo.
Oh,
But you know, again, it's just a water washable filter. I'm gonna put it back in. That's basically all you can do with a PTAC, right? Thermostat. These are our magic packs. Again, we ask them to clean the filter out monthly or as needed. Washable, just rinse it off. Not the best stuff we got on here right now, but again, you just run it under a sink. Condensate every 6 months. This one's got tape on it because we're still in construction, right? Stick your air hose down there. Every one of them's going to come with a condensate switch. On the exterior, there's coils, right? We got a louver coil on the inside. It says clean coils as needed, dust, cottonwood, etc. Again, if there's no cooling, check the safety switch. If it's set off. If it's something to do with something inside the drain there, you know, just flush it out. See if the safety switch is working, because that switch is on that switch on every piece of equipment. We split our yellows. Okay, so that has to do with the cooling. If it ever stops, 9 times out of 10, it's that switch. And then the unit will only cool down to 55 degrees outside temp. Okay, so again, we set our thermostats. So I'm going to show you a thermostat here. So if I go to, so when somebody goes to heat, they push it up, it's cold in here, it's cold in here, they're not going to get it over 80 degrees. Period. Right? And then we'll just turn this to off. Warm enough outside, I'll put it on cooling. We're going to go through this week and start everything on cooling since it's so nice outside.
Yeah.
That cooling, you can't go up down below 60. Now I personally went through every unit and set all these at 80 and 60. So if there's a miscommunication, it's because somebody went in their tech settings here and then they switched it to go lower or higher. we don't want the magic packs operating underneath 60 degrees. It's set right in there that unit will only cool down to 55 degrees outside. So if it's 30 degrees out there, for some reason somebody in here is just super hot, it's not gonna get any. Now there's a couple other things that ain't on this checklist that I'm just gonna go over with you. This is our normal checklist for all our bigger equipment. And I'll have you sign all those here shortly. But that's, we're gonna go over a fan coil once we go downstairs. I was just trying to get all the quieter stuff done with you up here.
Yeah.
Because the fan coils are gonna all be working in the areas right now. When in all your bathrooms, you have your typical exhaust fan, right? They're not the quietest exhaust fans,
Yeah.
okay? But every one of them's been gone through the damper opens, they all work. They're just not the quietest exhaust fan, you know. I know we've heard complaints that, oh, my fan in my bathroom is super loud. The fan's gotta make noise to operate.
Yeah.
I just know in the elderly division that, you know, there's a lot of. Also, we've got a condensate drain up here, so clean it out every 6 months. There's a fresh air filter on these fan coils also,
Okay.
so we don't have like on our furnaces, the fresh air will tie into your return with the motorized damper on it, right? These ones will have all their own filters for the fresh air because these come directly from outdoors, and then they tie right into the back of the fan coil, and that's the best way that we can get to filter it. On the furnace now, the return and the fresh air filter through the furnace filter,
Okay.
okay? This one, we can't obviously pull it through the return before we pull it in here, so that's why there's the two separate filters. Those ones are just washable, you just stick them back in there. They're blue, they're nice and thick. Just wash them, stick them back in there, good to go.
Okay.
I'm sure this side will be clean, but you might have a couple bugs on the other side of it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
All those sorts of things.